In this episode, we sit down with Gav Dixon. This one got emotional. I absolutely loved this conversation, the raw openness and the vulnerability that Gav showed about his life, the struggles, the addiction, the trauma, the hard times. I've never known a man that has been through that much stuff and still been stood here to tell the tale. This one really meant a lot to me because I felt almost like I was sat next to my brother talking to him about his addiction and his experiences with his own parents and my experiences with Liam and my parents. It was a special episode. This one's not to be missed. I hope you enjoy it. This episode of the Tom's Talks podcast is proudly sponsored by Unthin, the hair growth company that's helping people feel more confident in their own skin. From supplements to topical product, Unthin is deeply rooted in the science behind helping people with a healthy hair and scalp. You can use the code TOM20, that's TOM20 for 20% off at the checkout. Thank you to Unthin to supporting honest conversations around mental health. Gavin.
Hello, mate.
Thank you so much for joining me. So I think you're probably one of the only people still alive that has a death certificate. Can you tell us the story behind it?
I took my own life. It was a choice I made because I couldn't cope with my addiction. People talk about it having not enough willpower, and they talk about how following society and about just being an addiction to the drug itself. The drug itself was never a problem for me. The drug was always a solution I used to feel normal. But that normality got out of control. I went from the cocaine, and when that stopped working as my solution, I turned to crack. When crack stopped working as a solution, I turned to injecting cocaine. And when I started injecting cocaine, it was just a different level. It takes you out of your mind. It makes you see things. I was addicted to this line of death. I'd go into this line of death, I would fit, I'd bang my head, I'd broke my ribs, broke my nose. And it's because it's a pure escape from reality. I hated the reality I lived in. But this reality got out of control, and it wasn't just affecting me, it was affecting my full family around us. My mum had been in hospital numerous times through stress, which led to pleurisy, which led to pneumonia. She was having asthma attacks through panicking about us. I was killing my own mother. And
it's okay, mate.
And although
it's all good, mate. Take your time.
Although addiction's the most selfish disease in the world, when people take their own lives, people look at us, oh, you're selfish, you've left this and left that. Sometimes you have to make a choice, and I couldn't stop. My choice was removed. I tried every single thing possible, every rehab, every different type of rehab, every program, and I tried to the best of my ability. And my only solution was death. So I went to my normal dealers. I had numerous dealers because I had to get, the amount I was taking was insanity. I was up to about between £2,000 and £3,000 a week injecting into my veins. And I spoke to one who dealt in heroin as well. And we just got in the conversation how much heroin would it take to kill someone. And he gave us a rough idea. So what I did was I doubled the amount that he said would kill someone in the first hit. I ordered it. I took it back. I had numerous amounts of coke. I always had cocaine in my house, numerous amounts. And I mixed the two together. I did 50 and 50, £50 worth of heroin, £50 of cocaine. I remember sitting there, fucking getting my needle ready. I was addicted to pulling back the syringe, seeing the blood, and then I just looked up at the sky and went, fuck you, God. And I just hit it. And it was peace. For the first time in life, since I can remember, way before drugs, I had problems before drugs with my mental health. This is the first time in my life I had peace. And obviously, I'm not going to sit here and say, oh yeah, I went to this different place, I met God, I met the devil. I don't know what I believe in. I don't know if it's God, energy, whatever. I'll never know because it's greater than me. The power is greater than me, whatever's out there. I'll never know. But all I know is I woke up in hospital and I remember saying, it took us about a day to 2 days to start coming around. And when I was explained to that I was an addict, as soon as she said them words, I remembered everything. And I remember lying in my hospital bed crying because I knew I couldn't stop. Death couldn't stop us.
Thank you for sharing that, mate. I can imagine how difficult that is to talk about. The thing for me, mate, is that you're here now, and obviously we've talked off camera about various things that you're doing and the great work that you're doing, and I always say life happens for you and not to you, and I can see how much it means to you, and I can see how much emotion is there, and yeah, I can feel it. I can really feel it, mate. Thank you for being so open and honest and vulnerable and sharing your story, and as I mentioned to you, you know, how vulnerable you are being and have been. If one person listens to this and it helps them, I know that probably means as much to you as it does to me.
It does, mate, because you know what, my full life, like everything is a lie. I've lied my full life about everything since I was born. And I don't mean lying like, oh, I've got this, I've got that. I mean how I felt. When I was growing up way before drugs, I've never felt comfortable in my own skin. I just felt as though there was something different in my head. I didn't understand how people could do normal things, so I pretended to do them. It's not like being like a chameleon. They talk about it in the addiction world. Oh, you're a chameleon, you can chameleon. I wasn't just looking like the people around us. I was adapting the full behaviours because I couldn't do the behaviours on my own. I'd pretend to be this person, pretend to be this person, pretend to be this person, because I couldn't understand life. I couldn't live life on life's terms, so I pretended. My full life's being a show for everybody else. I did what people wanted. I thought people wanted us to do. I acted how the gang I was around, the environment. I was a product of the environment. And this is the thing with addiction. Addiction's something I believe, or it's being proven you're born with. But it's all my addiction, no matter what it is, whether it was from fighting when I was young to girls to then onto drugs, because I didn't do it with my first drug till I was 20. But that was always just my solution to normal day living. When people take drugs, they get high and they go to this amazing place at the party. When I take drugs, it's just like, boom, I'm normal now. My normality is in the drug world. That's how I felt normal. That's how I felt in control. When I don't have drugs in my system, I am not in control. I've got ADHD, so I panic a lot. I overthink, I react, I get jealous, I get angry, I get sad, I cry. My emotions are all over the place when I'm not on drugs. As soon as I used to have a line, or I had a crack pipe, or I'd stick a pin in my arm, I feel normal now. Now I can live. I never got high. I got high, but I never got to the extent of where I'll go and party on drugs, on this, doing that. It was my drug was my best friend that came like a little whisper in my ear, saying, oh, I'll look after you, to completely taking over my life. My choice was removed when I took my first drug. And this is what people will never understand. If you're not an addict, if you haven't worked in my shoes, you'll never understand the actual fear, the control, the manipulation the drugs have on you. It's the choice is removed, mate. And this is the sad thing about it.
As I mentioned to you, you know, off camera, that was the thing about my brother, Liam. He had an addiction to ketamine.
Yeah.
And, you know, at the time, I was, so I think his addiction started maybe, well, as you mentioned, it was always there, but the day-to-day use of ketamine was really from 16 until 22. And obviously this is 10 years ago now, over 10 years. Yeah. And I didn't know then what I know now.
Yeah.
And I would just get really angry with him. I'd get really frustrated. I'd get fed up. I'd shout at him. I'd fall out with him. And I mean, the last things I said to him before he took his own life was that I never wanted to speak to him again because of the addiction. And again, if I knew then what I know now, I would have put my arm around him and said, I'm here for you.
This is the thing in society now. I mean, it's still frowned upon. It's still hidden. Yeah, people, you talk about it and people it, but it's what people look at. They look at social media, they look at films, they look at stories. And if you asked me, but when I was before I was 20, if I took my first drug, if you asked me what a drug addict was like, I would say someone on the streets, someone who was in a gang, someone who was like, do you know what I mean? I would never think a normal person was an addict because And I didn't learn that. I learned what I knew about drugs through watching films when I was younger, and what was socially accepted, what wasn't socially accepted. But when I've been in all my treatment centres, when I've been in all my different like anonymous meetings, it's the normal person. 90% of it is just a normal everyday person. It's still, the truth still, I believe, it's getting better and better, but it's still so hidden, the truth. Look, and people are scared to say, look, I'm an addict, I'm an alcoholic, but they'll big it up. I'm just a normal person. I've lived an extravagant life, but inside my head, I am an addict. I'll always be an addict. I'm one use away from death. I'm one wrong decision away. This is why I need, and I continue to get, therapy by professionals. Certain things work for us, certain things don't work for us. And I've learned that through relapses. And relapses is like frowned upon. And it's like, oh, you've relapsed, what, or this. And then people who relapse, I've had a lot of friends die. And it's always been through a relapse, or through being scared to talk about something, or being ashamed of the person they are, or being embarrassed about a decision they've made which led to the relapse. Relapses to me is like lessons. It's not it's only a mistake if you don't learn from it. Every relapse I've made has been a lesson learned. I've never relapsed twice on the same thing. So, and I'd rather be honest about it. I'm no perfect person in recovery. There's not such a thing. I've made more mistakes in my recovery than probably 95% of people in recovery. But you know what? Fuck it, I have. I'm an addict. I've got mental issues. I've got ADHD. I've got trauma. I've got dependent category. I've got all these different things, and I'm learning every day. But you know what? It's like, it's in one of the Rocky films where he says, it doesn't matter how many times you get knocked down, it's getting back up. Yeah. That's the main thing. I will not be scared to talk about relapse. I'm not ashamed about relapsing. If I'd rather relapse and then talk about my relapse if it helps someone else not relapsing. I can't do recovery alone. I can't do my therapy alone. I need the people around us. I need to keep in the correct environment around us. I mean, Amy, it's like the biggest thing for me, if I look back in all my relapses and all my tries to try, and one of the things I disagree with, and I disagree with the cause, when they say you've got to love yourself before you can make a change, or you can do this. When you've been to the depths of darkness and hell I've been in, mate, you physically cannot love yourself. I proved that by wanting to die. I've loved others. I love me mum, and I couldn't get clean for them. I can't get clean for anybody. But what I needed I needed a reason.
What was the reason?
It was Amy. It was like, I'm not saying that I'm putting this all on Amy. It can be anything. But you need something in your life where there's a reason. It's like, I've pushed everyone away in my full life. My own mother, who was the best person I've ever met in my life, she's an angel. She tried for 20 years, and after putting her in hospital, she just couldn't help us anymore. And when my dad didn't give up on us, my own mum was like, you should have left them be at peace. And it's like, people don't give up on you because they want to or they don't love you. It's because sometimes you can't see a change, because the change looks impossible. And for me, it was like, I pushed everyone away around us because I didn't want anyone around me. I know I couldn't stop using. I didn't believe I could stop in the end. After I was trying 110% of my best abilities in the rehabs, doing everything suggested and more. I was doing 20 meetings a week in NA, CA, AA. I was chairing the meetings. I was sponsoring people. I was doing every step to the best of my ability, and I couldn't get the voices out of my head. And that's because I needed professional therapy. And when you have someone like Amy was for me, who stood there and said, look, you're not fucking pushing us away, I'm staying. I mean, the poor girl saw us fit in front of her, and she still wouldn't go. She says, you need help. What haven't we tried? We need to look into it more. So we looked at different things, what was happening in Norway, we looked at different things that was happening in Canada. And I went back to my psychotherapy and my counselling. And instead of this time, me being the addict I was, I'll do this bit of therapy, I'll do this bit of therapy, because I was too scared and embarrassed to go about my trauma. I didn't want to talk about it. But that was my thing. all mental health is certain ones you're born with, but the addiction side, it's all based around trauma. It doesn't matter how small or how big it is, it's all centralized, I believe, to this trauma in your life which you haven't went through. And sometimes, like, when you talk about in step 5 in AA or NA, and you list all your things and you get your character defects, and then you ask God to remove these defects. I needed help. I needed severe trauma counseling. So what I did, I worked through the steps, because I've done the steps like 5 times in rehab, about 4 times by myself with sponsors. But when I got to that step, instead of like saying, "Oh, God, remove this," and looking at and changing and practicing my different character defects, I needed help through therapy, through professional counsellors and psychotherapists guiding me through what I needed to change. Because mental illnesses in this country, if you look at it, if the biggest killer for men under 30, sorry, for men under 50 in this country is suicide. Suicide's broke into addiction, mental health, and accidents. And if you look at it, the biggest, from 24 to 35, the biggest killer of men is addiction and mental health. You put suicide, mental health, and addiction together, it's the biggest killer of males in this country. It's bigger than cancer, and this is one of the biggest things. If you put cancer and heart disease, that's a natural thing in this country. Everybody's got it, and it's whether it comes out. But even if you look at heart disease by itself, a lot of that's done through alcoholism. Addiction, alcoholism, mental health is the biggest, I believe, one of the biggest killers in the world. And it's,
I would say, is the biggest.
It is tied together, yeah, and it's not looked at enough.
No.
And this is the problem today. Yeah. But I got my reason, which was Amy, and I'm not saying she does it today. She just gave us that jump start. She gave me enough love. She loved me enough till I was able to love myself. And I got that for the first time in my life by someone who wasn't my mum or my dad.
Special lady.
It is, mate, and she was. And it's like, and I mean, we get married, so life's great now, but even if we weren't, I've got enough love for myself now to carry on. I know what I need to do. I've got my journey planned. And you know what? I never say I'm going to be clean the rest of my life, because I live everything in just today. Today I'm going to be clean, I know I am. I'll tackle tomorrow. And I learned that through AA and NA. Everything's kept in the day. And that's, obviously you need to make plans for the future. But me and my feelings and my situations is done in the day.
They say, don't they, that depression often stems from living in the past.
Yeah.
Being sad about what's happened, and anxiety is often
from the future.
It's being worried about things in the future. But the main thing is that whatever's happened in the past is out of your control.
Exactly.
Whatever happens in the future is out of your control. All we ever really have control of is the right here and now, isn't it?
It is. It's totally correct, and it is. And when you have mental health and you're going to overthinking and you're worrying about this, scared about this, and what you just said there as well is, with addiction, it's all fear-based. Everything comes from 100 forms of fear, and you literally, sometimes it was like being a child in a man's body, being scared of everything. It's like literally having fear walking out the door, having fear of your past, having fear of the future, the anxiety, the depression, not being able to talk truly and fully about things that had happened to you in the past. Drugs settle that down. Alcohol settles it down for some people. Gambling settles it down for some people. It's addiction so wide based. There's so many solutions out there. But the problem for me, and I know I'll be hated for saying this, is I think the rehab system needs to change in this country.
What are rehab?
Yeah.
And we'll come on further to the statement that you've just made. But traditionally, you talk about rehab and you spoke about the 12 steps. For the people that are watching the episode, what are the 12 steps for the people that don't know? So
the rehabs are spiritual. They're not religious. There is some religious rehabs out there, but I'd say 90% of them in this country are spiritual. And don't get us wrong. I mean, the 12 steps were wrote in 1936. They come from the Oxford group. And the Oxford group had 5 steps. And it was Bill Wilson designed it with his priest. It was like the guide he went to, and they wrote these 12 steps spiritually, and they worked in 1936. The first 100 had 95% success rate, but it was just alcohol based. That was like the first 100 were alcoholics, and the thing, the biggest changer for these 12 steps is social media is a killer. And it's bringing more mental health in. So the 12 steps for me today don't work as well as what they used to back in the old days, because, I mean, look at the statistics. Less than 1% of people get after rehab, get to a year clean. That was 2025. 2024 to 25, less than 1% in this country are getting to a year clean.
And why, and I think this will come from the statement that you made, but why is that? Is that because the rehab system is so broken, or?
There's different aspects about it, and for me, and this is only my opinion, it's one, the whole businesses now. They're all making a lot of money off the government, and they go in for 3 months to 6 months in certain rehabs, and I've seen that many people just going in and out, in and out, in and out, and it's America's even worse. There's a film made on it in America, and
I think I watched it.
it is and it was on a certain
Is it on Netflix?
It is, and it was a certain pharmaceutical company, which I'll not say, but it's a certain pharmaceutical company that was worth billions, and they were just, it was actually, I mean, this country,
cycle, wasn't it?
It was in and out, using addicts. I mean, I'm not saying this country does that, but what it is why is, no one's looking at why is the system broken? Why is people in and out of rehabs? What's going wrong? And it's the 12-step program for me is, yes, it works for a normal addict, and I've seen it work for people who I never thought it would work on, and it does. But when I think you chuck in severe mental health with addiction, the spiritual program isn't enough to help an addict. We need professional help. We need to stop after step 5 before we look towards God. Like they say, look towards God. They don't mean God, a man in the sky. They mean God all your behavior, God all your direction. You can pick your own person you look up to, but look towards him. Ask him to take away your character defects and changing. I did that every time, mate, and I put in the work. I practiced the opposites. I asked for help. I tried to help others. It didn't help me because the chemical imbalance I've got in my brain. And it's I need guidance, I need professional help, and it's where my psychotherapy, cognitive behaviour therapy has made a massive, massive difference to me.
This podcast is fueled by Prep. Prep is a nutrition-first meal prep company that allows me to have high-quality meals without spending hours in the kitchen. As a business owner that prioritises their health and fitness, Prep allows me to hit my goals for the day without sacrificing loads of time. My personal favourite is the Cajun salmon, but if that's not for you, then there is plenty of other options as well, including vegetarian and halal. And the best part, you get 10% off your order when you use the code TOM10 at the checkout. That's TOM10 at prepuk.com. You said something really interesting off camera, and I follow a lady called Hannah on TikTok.
Yeah.
Believe it is the Class A people is her TikTok name, and she talks about her addiction to cocaine.
Yeah.
And she said something that you said, which was almost the same, was that she would take cocaine to feel normal.
Yeah.
And you said something very similar.
100%. It's like when I was born the way I was born, and the society. I mean, I come from an amazing family, full of love. Was given everything as a child, not too much, not too little. Everything I needed, I was given to. Family's home, had holidays, always well dressed, always fed, bang into sports, decent at school. But it's still in my head, I didn't feel normal. I would go upstairs as a child, and I would literally be up and down trying different clothes on. Doesn't matter what designer clothes I put on. Doesn't matter what sports thing I put on. When I looked in the mirror, I didn't feel normal. I hated the way I looked. I wanted to cut my own skin off. I felt that bad. Now I'd be crying, saying I wouldn't go out. I'd always be late because I didn't want to go anywhere because I hated the way I feel. And it was like that my full life. And when I took my first drug, it was like this. I mean, I don't say I took my first drug and I'm an addict. I kind of stopped you. I took my first drug and there was just something different. I felt these warm arms around us. I felt confident. I felt as though I could go and talk to people. I didn't want to hide in the corner anymore. And for the first time, I took off a mask. I was me, but which I thought was me, but it wasn't. It was the cocaine, the drug, which I was using as a solution in my life. I could go and be this new Gavin.
Was this in a setting like it was a night out and you're taking it for the first time, or was it a case of you were just at home and you wanted to try it?
Also, it was a party after a club. I hated drugs. I'm not going to sit here and say, oh, you can't look at us. Before I took my first drug, I looked down on addiction. I looked down on addicts. I stopped knocking about with certain of my mates because they were just smoking tack, the old brown substance you used to get. And I looked down on that, not knowing inside. They were just socially doing it. When I took my first drug, it was at an after party, after a night out. I'd actually just been arrested and I'd just getting out in the morning, and the girl I was seeing at the time with two mates I had up from London, I took my first line, and it was, I told about it in my book, and it was just like, I loved it. I felt amazing. I was talking. I wasn't embarrassed. I was saying about this. I was being the first person to talk in. I wasn't sitting down. I wasn't just replying. I wasn't like copying your behaviours. This was me now, but it wasn't. It was the drug.
Yeah.
The drug was just creeping in, and it didn't. Like I said before, it didn't just jump in and I was an addict. It makes you its best friend. It tells you the lies. It gives you this little bit of confidence. It picks you up when you're down. But not knowing, to me, it was going to take everything from us. Doesn't matter what I get in life. Doesn't matter how much you've got in life. I don't care if you're a multi-millionaire. If you're an addict, and you will lose everything. I've seen people in the rooms I've been in, being some of the most successful businesses and being down to nothing. But then, do you know what it is? I've seen addicts who have come from nothing, worked a program, whichever one suited them, and the success they get. Some of them become businessmen. Some people go back into like counsellors at treatment centres. One of the treatment centres I was in, I'd say 90% of them were addicts who had went through a programme, went on to counselling, went on to helping others. And there's a treatment centre there. One of my good friends is a director at one of the treatment centres, and I look up to him. It's just, for me, and I think many other addicts who go in and out of therapy, the 12-step isn't enough. And
what do you think's missing then? What do you think the solution is?
Looking more deep into therapy. Instead of staying 3 months in a rehab or 6 months in a rehab, going in 28 days. This is, for me, I designed a treatment that worked on me. I practiced on me, and it's working for me. And so to go into a treatment centre, because you need to be took out of society. When you're an addict and you're using it, everyday user, you need to be took out of society. And that works. I mean, don't get us wrong. The steps. The beauty about the steps is the order they're in. It is.
What's the first step?
Admitting that you're powerless. It's surrender. It's admitting that I'm powerless over your drug of choice, and it's surrender.
Do you think that's the main problem with addiction? It is admitting that you have a problem.
I think it's admitting you have a problem. It's not, anyone can say I'm an addict. I used to go in the rooms, I used to go in treatment centres and say, oh, I'm an addict. But saying it out loud, but completely surrendering to yourself is a different thing. I did the first 2 programs without surrendering. I did the first three rehabs without even talking about my trauma. And it's complete surrender is completely surrendering, not only to yourself, but to another person and to your full entire life and around you. And I'm not saying go start shouting about all the traumas you've had as a person or all this. You've got to make a choice, and you've got to talk honestly and truthfully about who you are to yourself as well as to someone else. And I couldn't do that. I couldn't admit I was an addict to myself. I couldn't admit my trauma to myself. I would hold it in. I would hold it so far down. I would bury it so deep, because I was ashamed. I was scared of what people thought of us. I was scared of being judged. I could see it great in a room, but I never went into me.
You never truly accepted it.
I never truly accepted it, but I wouldn't go into the dark places I needed to go. I'd forgotten a lot as well. I needed therapy to also go into them dark places. And this is the scary thing about addiction. It doesn't just control your mind. It makes your thoughts go away. It gives you things that you never thought imaginable would happen to you. It would take you to the darkest places of people and into the world. Have things would happen to you, and then it would bury them so dark inside, down and deep inside your soul, inside your being, you couldn't stop using. You needed your solution, and which was always drugs for me.
The perspective I've got on it, and obviously I am no expert, and I'm not an addict. I can only base my perspective and my experiences on my brother's addiction.
Yeah.
And the way I used to see it was, or the way I see it now from my experiences, 10, 15 years ago, was I used to say to my brother when he used to take ketamine, or why, like I honestly could not wrap my head around it. You've seen people on it, zombie, non-responsive, they're out of it. It's not a social drug, although it is taken in a social setting. And I used to say to him, why the fuck do you keep taking this drug? And his response would be, it's an escape from reality. So the way I see it now is, in hindsight, I would have said, well, let's talk about why you're so unhappy in your reality.
Yeah.
What is the problem? What's the issue? I would put my arm around him. I'd say, I'm here for you. I'm your best friend. I'm your brother. Whatever it is you're going through, we'll do it together. I love you. I want you to see the light at the end of the tunnel, and I'm here for you. Let's help you get to the root cause of what the problem is. But that was the issue. I didn't do that. My family didn't do that because we didn't know. You don't know what you don't know.
But also, mate, as well, like, don't beat yourself up about it, because my mum, my dad, my stepdad did that for me for the last 10 years of my addiction. Like I said, I'll always be an addict, but the last 10 years of me trying, they did that for me. They tried everything, they put us in everywhere. It's sometimes you can't, there's nothing you can do. Sometimes you don't hit your rock bottom. Everyone's rock bottom. I've seen people bounce back from a long weekend, and they went to rehab and they're getting better. I've seen people die. I've seen people's sons and daughters die, and still all of them is not enough rock bottoms. Sometimes people want your help, and guidance, it still isn't enough. It's when the addict is ready, and when he hits his own personal rock bottom, it'll never change. For me, it'll never change. You have to hit your own individual rock bottom. My rock bottom wasn't me death. It wasn't me suicide attempt. It wasn't driving a car into a tree at 70 miles an hour. It wasn't waking up from 6 years induced coma. My rock bottom was me mum, like looking at my mum's eyes. And she was literally going to take her own life. And that was me rock bottom. But still, I still had one more day use after that. And you can lose everything in the world and still not hit rock bottom. You can take your own life and not hit your rock bottom. And it's when you are personally ready, when you can't take another thing.
I think, as I mentioned to you earlier, that I think everything happens for a reason.
Yeah.
And although, do not get me wrong, like I would give absolutely anything to see my brother one more time. But if he'd have not taken his own life and would have not gone through that whole situation, then we would not be having this conversation right 100%. Now. And I think, life is a wonderful, I always say life is a whirlwind of shit. It's about how you navigate your way through it.
Yeah.
And for me, losing my brother and going through that whole ordeal and then having my own struggles as a result, but managing to hit rock bottom but get through it and get to where I am today, Liam, and I feel awful saying this, but Liam was supposed to die.
Yeah.
That was supposed to happen, and there's two sides to it. I'd give anything for him to be here right now, absolutely anything. I miss him so much, but it was meant to happen, The Tom's Talks wouldn't be a thing without that happening. We wouldn't be having this conversation, you sharing, all these vulnerabilities and being as open, as honest, and, people will listen to this and it will help people. And the amount of messages that I've had from people saying that from doing the work that I'm doing, it stopped them from taking their own life.
So what it is, mate, and the actual respect I've got for you, it's like I have to be here. I'm an addict. It's without the boat. I am an addict. Yes, I was born an addict. Yes, certain things have been through the choices I've made, and it's but to sit across the table from someone who's just, instead of having his brother die and then think, oh, who are me, this and this, of course you're going to hit your depression, of course you're going to have, but say, do you know what, no, fuck it, my brother died. He's not dying for nothing. He died for a reason. I'm going to make my brother's death into something. If I can save one person's life, if I can start a podcast and help this way, do you know what? Say if 100 people watch this, like we said before, it doesn't matter if fucking 99 of them call us worse than shit, or say you're overdoing this or this or this, or try this, or you should do work this way. If one person's life is changed, if one person says, fuck it, do you know what, I'm going to look into this, or one person says, fucking hell, if Gavin is getting through and still living, or if Tom, like someone's family says, you know what, Tom's doing this, I'm going to give a bit more time into my son or my daughter or my brother. I'm going to say, listen, fucking stop now. There's something wrong. Let's make a fucking change, because people are fucking dying. It's fucking pissing. It's like, I mean, I'm emotional. I cry at RSPC adverts, me, and it's like Christmas RSPC adverts is a fucking killer for me.
Me and you both, man.
It's a cry, but you know what? Sometimes it's not tears of like, I feel sorry for it. It's tears because it's like, every time I hear you, when I heard you say that, it's healing. It's thinking, shit, my death, what if I didn't come back? Just imagine the trauma I would have caused the people around us. And do you know what I mean? But you're doing something good. You're turning this trauma into something just to help people. So, mate, honestly, it's uttermost respect on doing this as well, but I totally mean that.
Thank you, man.
Right.
I appreciate that, man.
That's
Thank
nice.
you. This is why I love it. I love it. I love it. Like I said to you, I slept absolutely terrible last night, 4 hours sleep. But I woke up and I get to wake up and do something that I love. Like I wake up, I was driving up to Newcastle last night, 2 hour drive, got back off holiday, slept shit, busy day, driving up to Newcastle last night, and I was absolutely knackered. And I thought, what if I get into these deep thoughts and I'm on a long drive, as I can imagine you do as well. I get into these deep thoughts and all these thoughts just coming in, some good, some bad, and I was like, if someone asked me a question, if somebody told me tomorrow, if I went to the doctor and said you've got 6 months to live, what would you do with your life? I wouldn't change it.
It's not bad.
I wouldn't change a thing. I would be doing the exact same thing that I'm doing. I'll be doing this podcast. I'll be doing the motivational speaking, running the business with my family. I would not change a thing.
Yeah.
And although I was knackered, it was like this uplift of how fucking lucky am I
To do something you love.
that I wake up every day doing something that I absolutely love. And again, it goes back to, as much as I would give absolutely anything to see my brother one more time, I wouldn't be where I am now doing what I'm doing.
It's kind of, he's your reason for your life now.
Exactly.
And it's amazing, mate. It's a beautiful way to look at it. And likewise, do you know what, I started writing a book 5 years ago, because I got offered a deal. And the book I wrote then compared to the book that's coming out like this Christmas is completely different book. My first book, which I wrote, it was all celeb name droppings. It was parties here. What are they doing? What are this doing? And do you know what, if that book had come out then, it would have been the biggest mistake in my life. I would have looked like an egotistic, story-selling prick.
Why didn't it come out? Because you decided you didn't
relapsed.
Right, okay.
So I relapsed, and do you know, I relapsed on just the thrill of life. It was like, oh, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. Ego for me, I used to show so much ego. I used to brag about this, brag about that, because I was petrified, a little boy that was inside. And it's I'm pleased I relapsed then, because if that book came out, it would have been a mistake. And I never even looked. I didn't know enough about addiction. I didn't know about the trauma, like the traumas people go through. I didn't know about what it was like to surrender. I couldn't even talk about relapses in the books. Then that was the first one. And like as we talked before, the relapses are lessons. Like I will share my darkest secrets. Some I'm still embarrassed for, but even though they're not my fault, I will share it if it helps another human being. I will talk about the darkness. I will talk about the depths that drugs takes us. And you know what? But the reason I brought the first book now to this book, now this book is not about addiction. It has addiction in it, but it's about helping families of addicts. It's mine and my mum's story. So I do a chapter, then my mum does a chapter on her side. And so we keep on going through me through life as a child. Then we go through my first drug take, and then with her side. I manipulated and emotionally blackmailed my mum for years because I needed more money. My money was never enough. And even her money on top of it wasn't enough. Doesn't matter how much money you've got, whether you've got £1,000 or 100 grand, you will spend it till the last penny. It's one of the best sayings in addiction is one of the NAs, and it's 1,000, one is too many, 1,000 is not enough. And that is the life of an addict. You never have enough. But we did this book to support families of addicts. So it's not just show my mistakes or my depths of addiction. Yes, hopefully addicts will see similarities where I've went wrong, hopefully where they don't go on relapses, and they'll see similarities in my mental health, so do they need to get help? But it shows the mistakes my mum made, through no fault of her own, mistakes my dad made, goes what the mental state I put my mum at, my family at. It shows the family's side, because addiction, as we spoke about, is a family disease. It's not just one person having the disease. It affects the full family life. Your brothers affected your life, it affected your family's life, then even his death affected it. But now it's like, but look what it's spread. It's turned you into the amazing person you are, and I've got total respect for you, bro. And it's like, addiction doesn't have to be bad. Good can come from addiction. It's all about helping the next person. But you know what, mate? It's like, when I see certain people talking about addiction and spreading wrong, just showed how easy, they see how easy it is to overcome certain things, and we just do it this way, just so they get more hits on the social media. There has to be caps put on it as well.
But that's social media, isn't it? It's everybody's got.
So anybody can say anything. So if anybody's watching out, make sure they're watching the right stuff as well.
That's one thing I'm very, very mindful of.
Yeah.
And I've said this multiple times. It is a privilege that I got hundreds of people that reach out to me for advice and for help. And I'm very, very, very mindful of what I reply to those messages. And because I'll say first and foremost, I'm not a professional.
Yeah.
I'm not a professional. Everything that I ever speak about is from my own personal experiences. And it's only from what has helped me. And everybody is different, and what helps me might not help you. So all I can ever share is what has helped me. And I would say, give it a go and try it. I'm not saying it will work, but it might work.
Yeah, exactly.
But you don't know unless you try.
Exactly.
And that's something based on what you've just said, it's something I'm always very, very mindful of is what I reply to people saying, because of those exact reasons.
Exactly, man. Do you know what as well though? It's like, that's with everything. It's like you can try loads of different counsellors, loads of different therapies, loads of different psychotherapists. And do you know what? For me, one says something completely different to the next person, to the next thing. So I'm not saying don't listen to it. It's like, get advice from every aspect. I mean, if you look at counselling online now, it's like 78% pass on, they have an amazing time, and they will suggest counselling because they're so happy with it. You don't have to meet someone in person, because as addicts as well, you're scared to go out the door sometimes. Online sometimes is the best bet.
Yeah.
There's so many fellowships as well online. Try everything. Just because something doesn't work for me doesn't mean it won't work for another addict.
Yeah.
All I'm saying is the basis I get at is certain things aren't, I need more. I need therapy. I need professional help to guide us through the 12 steps. I need professional help to make a change in my head, because I can't do it alone. But then again, I've also, like you said, I've been scrolling through TikTok, through Instagram, and I get more of one quote that's just on Instagram. I'll just read and I think, fuck, and it brightens up my day for 2 hours. And I'll run to Amy, and I'll probably say the quote about 100 times. She'll be like, Gavin, shut the fuck up. And I'll overthink it, I'll overtalk about it. Then I ask her scenarios, that's my ADHD kicking in. But you know what, that one quote made me happy for like 2 hours.
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter who you are, what you are. Listen, you've got 2 ears. Always use them more than your mouth. You've got only one mouth. Listen. See what works for everyone. See what doesn't work for everyone. But you are your own person. You've got to make your own choice.
Absolutely.
But don't just listen to one person. Because people just fantasize. They'll have one celebrity they admire, and they'll just fantasize on that one celebrity. Like, oh, they're going through this. This has to work. No, listen to everything. Talk to people. Don't be ashamed of what you've been through in your past. Don't be ashamed of where your life's going. Don't be ashamed if you're by yourself with rock bottom with no, pick up the phone, talk to people, put a message out. I don't say, don't go on your Facebook and put someone on and say, oh, da, 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 da. You know who you can trust. Ask for help. Look for people like you who's out there. Ask for help. Ask to be point. We don't have the answers to everything, but we can definitely suggest. Look there, look here, look there. It's easy to point someone in the right direction. 100%, mate. Aye.
Just a quick one. Most of you watching this episode aren't yet subscribed. So if you want your weekly motivation from some incredible guests, then make sure to hit the subscribe button and turn your notifications on.
Do you know what as well? I've been lucky enough to be put in some of the best rehabs in the country, the most expensive rehabs in the country. I've talked to some of the best counsellors and psychotherapists. Do you know what? The NHS 111 is when you slow it down and if you press 111 on your phone, say you're suicidal. Like if you really are, the suicide watch team to come out. And I had a call on me once, and do you know what? The help I'm getting for the first 7 days of that. They were calling out 2-3 times a day, talking to us, pointing us in the right direction. Sometimes it just takes someone to sit with you. And people put the NHS down a lot in like they're being over busy, they're being not there enough, they're not getting the correct help. I promise you, if you are so down, you're going to do it. The counsellor I see today is I'll not say her name, but she's NHS, and she is. There's 2 of them, and they have changed my life, and they're just a counsellor who works for the NHS, and she I was like, I'll give you an example. 2 days ago, I went to see her, and I had a 45-minute appointment, and it ran over. She went to a dinner hour for us. I was there for an hour and a half because I needed help. I couldn't stop talking. I needed guidance, and that woman who gives up at a dinner hour as well as work, just to sit with us and talk. The NHS is amazing, and the 111 for the suicide team they are actually amazing. I'll always point my finger in that direction if anyone's suicidal.
I'm really glad that you've mentioned that, because again, there'll be people listening that may be feeling unfortunately suicidal and don't know where to turn, and that in itself, honestly, it's a lifesaver there. So what is your perspective on timing when it comes to therapy? From my experience, when my brother passed away, I was unfortunately the one that found my brother, so those images still sit with me and do affect me. But my mum and dad were very much like, you need to go see somebody. At the time I was like, yeah, no problem, but this was when I was 19, and back then I was like, fuck this, I hate it, I don't want to be here, I don't want to talk about it, and that was to my own detriment, because that was the problem I had. I didn't want to talk about it. But fast forward 10 years later, at the beginning of this year, I went back to therapy, but worked specifically with a guy called Kieran, who's a mental performance coach. And it has been the best thing I've ever done. It really helped me uncover certain things that I was doing that I thought I should be doing, but then realised I shouldn't be doing, and my own insecurities and things that was going on in my head. And it really has been one of the best decisions I've ever made. And I think that the timing was there when I was 19. It wasn't the right timing. Now it is. Has that been the same for you, or?
Do you know what, mate? Timing is like, you've got to be ready. You've got to, obviously me and you at the different sides, so like, but to be honest, it's still all in the brain, so it's like we all need help, but you've got to be ready, you've got to want it, you've got to be ready. But you know what, it's like, I used to look at other people and I used to think, how are they getting clean so quick? How are they only doing 1 meeting a week? Or how are they not doing anything and they're still staying clean? And then I'd look at people like me, or like other people who would go into all this stuff and chuck their lives into it but still relapse. Or why am I still struggling inside my head? For therapy, for me, is something I'm going to have for the rest of my life. I need to talk to someone, professional therapist, at least once a week, sometimes more. Sometimes I need to just call down and see. Sometimes I call down and see them on the morning break. Sometimes, but talking to anybody is therapy, as long as it's the right person. I mean, talking to you today, I'll walk out of here, it's like my head's on a cloud. I'll be buzzing because I've released the truth, and it's but I don't think there's any time scale on it. I think as soon as you start, It gets better, but sometimes you've got to go into the darkness to get to the light, and I had to, and I was scared of therapy. I was scared of going somewhere where I didn't want to go in my mind, but that's me addiction. It's my mental health convincing us not to go because that's the way to go. It's my mind talks to us in different ways. My mind, I overthink. I underthink sometimes.
Sorry, what do you mean by underthink? I've not heard that term before.
So when I overthink, it's like when you're on Sky and you press times 30.
Yeah.
That's like my brain on an everyday thing.
Yeah.
Sometimes Amy says to us, she goes, Gavin, can we just stop talking for 5 minutes? Just because I'm
Your relationship with Amy sounds very similar to mine with my wife.
She's honestly, she's the girls and the angels. She's how she puts up, honestly, but it's just, she's my soulmate, and it's as simple as that. And I'm just like, that's me overthinking Sky times 30. Now think of it, if I go into a situation and then go into like slow-mo on the iPhone, people will talk to us and my head will just go like that, and I'll just like my head will wander off into something else, and whatever they're talking about, I haven't even got a fucking clue what they're saying. It just underthinks what they're thinking, and I'm just zombied out. And then I'll be like, where the fuck have I just been for 5 minutes? I don't know what they're talking about. I don't know what's going on. And I'm like, what's going on?
It's really interesting you say that.
Yeah.
How you've just envisaged that, I think that's very similar to myself.
Yeah.
Like how you've just explained your relationship with Amy, and I'll give you an example. I was in the gym,
Right.
I was on the leg press, and I was like, I sent Amy 5 voice notes saying, we should do this, we should do that, this is mint, let's do this is sick. And she's like, what the fuck are you on about? but then having a conversation, but then sometimes I'll be sat there and she's like, you're not listening to me. And I'm like, oh shit, sorry, yeah.
And you know what it is? And when I've talked about this with therapy, it is trauma. It's because trauma will take us places, and will I ever get over me trauma? No. Will I be able to deal with it better? I'm dealing with it better every day. I'm able to talk about it with Amy. I've opened up to more people about it who I trust. And Jordan, it's in my book. Everyone's going to find out about it, but it's like, it wasn't my fault. It was, I was in a circle that I chose to be in, but the actual trauma itself was something that shouldn't happen to a human being. And it's like, this is the scary thing. It's like, but not only did the trauma happen to us, I let the trauma control me for 15 years because I was too embarrassed. I was too scared to go and ask for help. I didn't feel a man anymore. And this is what was so scary. The trauma controls your life for the rest of your life if you allow it to. You have to make a decision, not just on, when I talk about addiction, this is me rock bottom, I need help now, I'll go this way. But also, I would say 95% of my using was to cover up my trauma. And my drugs got worse and worse and worse because my trauma, I couldn't get the trauma out of my head. I would come back, when I came back from London, I would come back to chest, I would just sit. If I was ever around people, I would let people just talk down to me because I believed in my own head I deserved that because of what I'd been through. And
what was the trauma, if you don't mind me asking?
It was, so I was in a crowd in London, and I was in a bad crowd. I was doing bad things, which I put myself in that way. I mean, on my Facebook and all that, they'll see the people I knocked about with. They were rated some of the most dangerous men in the country, but I did something which had a repercussion. Hit someone with a duster in a club, which was an arranged fight. And then 2 weeks later, I was kidnapped, tortured for 3 days, and I had things done to a man that shouldn't be done. But
thank you for sharing that, mate. Oh no, that's tough, man.
But the 3 men was like, I don't want to go too deep into it, but
yeah. You don't need to talk about it, mate. It's fine.
Shouldn't be. But doesn't matter what the trauma is like. If you can't ever take away the trauma, doesn't matter what it is. But you can take away, bring back your future, and that is talking. And I can't do that alone. I need therapy for that. I need help for that, bro.
I've noticed you've got the secret on your arm.
Big believer in it.
I can imagine that's had a big impact on your life and the perspective that you've got on life now.
Do you know what it is? And it's like, I believe in the secret. I believe in karma. I believe in positive attitudes. I believe in what you give is what you get. And everyone's dealt a different card in life. And but it's you choose what you do today. If I got up this morning and the old me would have said, the old me would have literally been, oh no, I can't go in there, I can't be off. I'd let me mental health control me day. I'd want to isolate by myself. I'd want to use drugs. I want to do this. You've got to get up every day, and every new day is a new beginning. Every new day. So what I do is I get up in the morning. I'm like, what positivity can I bring? I do mood boards. I do positive thinking in my head. I've got my diary on my iPhone. I've got different things I want to achieve, and I read them. I'll only think negative. I'll let negative things come in my life. One of the best quotes for me is, if you show us the books you're reading, the people you're not about with, and the TV you're watching today, I'll tell you who you'll be in 5 years. And that for me is, you're not just a product of your environment. Anyone can achieve anything, I believe. I mean, look at the people who are success stories, not just in money, but in anything. If you want to be something, be it. Take your first step. Your first step doesn't have to be a massive jump. It's a tiptoe. 1,000 tiptoes lead to a mile, do you know what I mean? And it's like, just know what you want to be, but you don't, what was it? If you reach for the stars,
you might land on the moon.
You might land on the moon. Yeah. But just that's it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's like, anyone can be anything. I believe in that, mate.
Absolutely, mate. I 100% agree with that. What is the book called for the
people? The book's called The Devil, Diary of an Addict. And it's not a self-help book. It won't stop you using drugs. It's no miracle cure. It's not. It's a story for me and my mum, which starts at my death, but then jumps back to when I was a child, and it's just it gives my life an addiction, from addictive behaviours when I was a child to me death, to relapses, to rehabs, to the day I got clean. But it's also, which is the most important bit of the book, as I'm travelling along on my journey, my mum's telling her story, chapter after mine, called a mother's chapter. She follows it through, following my story at the same point in life, and it's to help families of addicts. It's so they don't feel alone. It's showing them the mistakes my mum's made and mistakes I've made, not by no choice of her own. She just did the best she possibly could. She let a mother's pure love try and help her son. But sometimes you've got to take a step back. Sometimes you've got to let an addict hit rock bottom. Sometimes you've got to force them to talk. And when I told my mum about my addiction, my trauma, I'd emotionally blackmail her into giving us money. I'd emotionally blackmail her into keeping me secrets. I put that woman through hell. But her son, she used to call us her blue-eyed boy, who she used to always call us, would give his own life for her. But as an addict, like I said before, I would step over her dying body to have a hit. It's two completely different people. And this book shows the story of someone who was born into a nice family, someone who lived a great life, then seeing the real disease of addiction for what it is. I didn't choose to be an addict. Yes, I chose my first drug, but the amount of people that do that, and okay, you don't think, you never know you're an addict until you take that first drug. Doesn't matter what the drug is. Doesn't matter if it's alcohol, cocaine, heroin, ketamine, uppers, downers, sleepers, prescription drugs, gambling, sex, overeating, undereating. It's all the same disease, mate. It's all using the same receptors. You never know. But this book just tells the story from a mother's point of view, with my addiction in it, with my story in it, to give families an understanding, to give mothers who can't go online, who can't go and seek help. It's just the understanding of disease from both point of views, because it is a family disease. It's not one disease, it's a family disease, mate.
When is it out, mate?
So it's going to come out before Christmas. It's going to come on Amazon, iBooks before Christmas.
Oh, I can't wait to read it.
And mate, I'll send you a copy.
Yeah, I can't wait to read it.
The hard book will be coming out next year as well.
You know why I can't wait to read it? Because I feel like my mum sounds very similar to your mum. She is the most kindest, empathetic, the love that she gives to you is unconditional, and most mothers are the same. And I just like the way I see my mum is she's just like this god of a woman, and I love her more than anything. And I know, like, I can imagine she's similar to your mum in a sense, like, I'm so ambitious and I'm so driven. I'm investing in different things and I'm building a business, and my mum, I'll sit down, I'll tell her these things, and she's like, not that she cares, but she's like, are you happy? Are you okay? Yeah, I'm fine. She was like, well done for doing all these amazing things, but you're still my little boy and I love you regardless. But my mum, and the most heartbreaking thing for me losing Liam was the devastation that it caused my mum. And it always really gets me just looking at my mum when that happened. And I feel like that book would be great for my mum.
I'll send you it straight after this.
Please, yeah, if you want.
I'll email you it.
Yeah.
And, so I'll you can send it straight to your mum.
I think it would really help her.
She wrote this thing. It's at the start of the book. It's called A Mother's Letter, and it's only about a minute long. Shall I tell you?
Yeah. Please do, mate. Yeah.
So this is called A Mother. I'll get it up, and it's
please do.
It's insane. This so it's kind of like how when I was in my addiction, and you as an addict you go into self-pity. You go into everything's about me. You don't understand. Do you know what it is? If you're not an addict, you'll never understand what it's like to be an addict. But also, mate, as an addict, you'll never understand what it's like to love an addict. I can never know what it feels like to be you losing your brother. I'll never know what it's like for me dad to find me dead and to fucking put his own life in this, making them not give up. I'll never understand what it's like for Amy living with us all the time, and you'll never know what it's like for a parent to love us. So I'll try and read it. If not, you might have to take over me. But so A Mother's Letter, a parent of an addict. Dear son, the day I realised you're an addict, I died too. Not all at once, not like you did. I died slowly, one piece at a time. People say being an addict is the worst. People say being an addict is the worst kind of suffering in the world. And I believe that too. But I've learned there is something worse, being the parent of an addict. Because as my mum, you were my whole world. And suddenly my world was spinning out of control. And I couldn't stop it. I watched you disappear piece by piece. Your smile, your laugh, your soul. You were breathing, but you were gone. And I had no power to pull you back. That helplessness is a pain you can't describe. It crushes your chest, it steals your breath, it eats you alive every single day. You lost everything, your job, your health, your home, your hope, but you had an escape. You had a high. You had a drugs to take away your pain. But me, there was no escape for me. Every second of every day was worry. Where is he? Is he safe? Is he even alive? I begged you, I pleaded with you, I screamed, I cried, I gave you all the money, I gave you all the love, I gave you everything. I would have even given my own life if it meant...
Take your time, mate. It's all good.
I would have given you your own life if I meant I could bring you back. But addiction didn't care. The dealers didn't care. And you, sometimes I wondered if you even cared anymore. My son, there were two kinds of death. Your health faded slowly. There were days when I saw hope, weeks when you'd stop, and I let myself believe maybe this time he means it. But you always slipped back under until one day I realised the drugs were winning, and I thought I might lose you forever. But here's the truth. No one talks about the parent dies too, but that's just much slower. Every day a little more, from stress, from silence, from shame, from pretending everything's okay when nothing is. People talk about the addict, but no one talks about the parent. But there is still hope. Yes, addiction is a disease. Yes, it can be beaten, but here's the hardest truth I've ever had to learn. I cannot win this battle for you. I cannot make you quit. I cannot drag you out of addiction by force. I can only love you, even if they're from afar. And then I had to find the hardest choice of all. Do I stay? Do I let your addiction destroy both of us? Or do I let you go and pray you find your own way home? The choice ripped my soul apart. Because letting go feels like giving up. But sometimes loving someone means setting them free, even if it breaks my heart into 1,000 pieces. I want you to know, son, I will never stop loving you, not in this life, not in the next. But I had to choose life too, and that nearly killed me. People say being an addict is the worst thing in the world. But I say being the parent of one is worse. And I know that because I lived it. But I will always love you, Mum. And that's what it's like.
Thank you for sharing that, man.
And it's you never know what someone else is going through. When you're in addiction, whether in mental health, whether you're just a normal person who can't find the motivation, you're in anxiety or you're in depression, you never know what someone else is going through. And addiction's the most selfish disease in the world, mate. It's all about me. Why am I an addict? Why am I like this? What's going wrong with my life? But you never look at what you're doing to your brother, your mother, your father, your lover. Addiction rips apart families. And I don't think there's enough family counselling and rehabs as well. I think families should be brought in to a rehab, because when the addict
I agree.
leaves rehab, he goes out in this full wide world of, yes, I'll go into this trip, I'll go to this group and this group. Why can't they have families living in the rehab for the last week, getting treatment together? Why can't the family be involved a lot more in understanding the disease? Yeah, there's groups out there for families of addicts. And I've been to them, mate. I've actually been to them to see what they're about. And they work great on teaching you. I can learn about anything online or talking to anyone, but I'll never understand. But if they brought them into the rehab, lived amongst addicts, and I know it'd be a big thing to do, but to truly understand the disease, you've got to live with them, and you've got to understand them. And the top and bottom of it is no one knows what the other person's going through. And do I wish I wasn't an addict? No, I'm glad I'm an addict, because I can make more change now, accepting being an addict, talking about me darkest days, telling the truth, which I was always scared to talk about, and helping others. And it's so I'm my you, mate, my you, my Dan, my people wanting to make a change. And it's if more people in the world did that, the world would be a better place. And do you know what's like a thing as well, like we're talking about Christmas presents the other day, and it's like, I fucking hate getting Christmas presents, but I love giving them. And that's what I've been since I was a child. And it's you can tell a lot from people by just simple things in life. I've been a fucking horrible person a lot of my life through no fault of my own. But if I can just change one little thing and make my little corner of the world better, and if everybody did that to their corner, a fucking better place, like you're doing, mate, like Dan's doing, like Amy does, like my mother's done, like your family's done. All you can do is try and make the next day a better day. That's good enough for me, bro.
Absolutely, mate. Thank you, mate, for being so vulnerable and honest and open. And I think this is definitely the most I've cried on a podcast. Thank you, mate. Thank you so much. I just wanted to ask a couple more questions.
Yeah, no problem.
Before we finish up. Really around the day that you died, what that doesn't happen, you know. What actually happened around that situation?
When I died, I was pronounced dead on scene. My dad heard the words, and they said, they said that enough's enough. They tried for 4.5 minutes, and they said he's not coming back. And my dad locked the door, and he said, "You're not going." He says, "Keep on trying." And the adrenaline shot us again. They weren't going to be. I can only go off what he's telling us and what's been wrote down and what's said and what I've seen on the hospital printout. And he said you carried on, and they worked on my body for 45 minutes altogether. They worked 45 minutes. I'm not saying your heart would stop for 45 minutes. You'd have to be underwater for that to happen. But my dad was saying it was something like 11, 12 minutes before the first heartbeat came back.
Wow.
And they don't work on a body that long. I mean, my dad is a big presence of a man. But he wouldn't let them give up. He didn't give up on us, even though it probably would have been better at the time for me to go that day. And I'm not saying that for us, poor me and all that, the chaos I caused after that was even more. But that man, through love alone, would not let me go. And you never know. But so when I was in hospital, I was put in a juice coma, every organ had shut down, like I said before. But when I got the printout and it said about the surgeon had wrote on, it was like notes and all this from the hospital printout, it said it's the most cocaine to blood he'd seen in a human body. It says on I was pronounced dead on sight. And my dad, he's not very good on the phone and all that stuff. He hates speaking to people and all that. So my mum was ringing the hospital and the surgeon was saying, and I haven't even spoke or seen the surgeon or the guy, the doctor at the end, the ICU. He said, he's not going to die on my watch. I'm saying there was something like different about him and all this. And I'm not saying God had sent him down or this or that or this happened because I'm not here to make a change in everyone's life. I'm not here saying it was a miracle. I'm saying miracles happen every day. I should not be here. It's wrote down. It shouldn't have happened. But you know, because of that, I've got to put that into something good. If I've got to talk about it, if people want to prejudge as judges, that's their stuff. I don't react to that anymore. I'm just here to tell my story. I'm here to make a difference. And like you are, it's a choice. I've got a choice today because I choose to talk the truth. That's what gives us a choice. My voice gives us a choice and everyone can have it.
How old were you when that happened?
So it was eight years ago. So I'd have been 37 to 38.
If you could go back to 38-year-old Gavin,
Yeah.
the moment before you took the substance, what would you say to him?
I've thought about this a lot. And if I didn't do it, or if I changed one thing, would I be sitting here at the table with you now? If I could go back to Gavin before he took his first drug, would I take it? Because who knows how my life would have acted. If I didn't take my first drug, you don't know what life's plan is. I could have walked out and got knocked by a bus if I wasn't using. I would not change anything in my life, any decision I made today, because I sit here today happy with life. I love what I do. I'm putting everything into my book. I love, for the first time, I choose to love someone more than myself in my relationship. I'm getting married. I'm engaged. And if you told 20-year-old Gavin you'd be engaged to just one woman and you wouldn't even look at another woman, I wouldn't believe it. I was an absolute male running around thinking I was here, this and everywhere because I hated who I was. So I used women as a tool to make me feel better. I can honestly sit here and say, I'll do the ironing for Amy. I like cooking for her. I like doing things for her. Not because I'm doing it for brownie points, because I love my life. Seeing her smile puts a smile on me. I visit my mum and dad every day, and my mum's like, "Fuck, are you back again?" But I know it's just a thing. It's like, well, ask the question of the day: would you want all of us like this, popping in your house for 5 minutes, bothering you with this, or do you want not see us? Because for me, I'm either the worst case scenario, or I'm, hiya, Gab's here again to help you out. And I love my life. I love the relationship I've got with my family. I love the relationship I've got with the friends I've got. I keep in a called like a little clique together. Life can't get better. There's a couple of things in my life that I would like to have done better, but them things won't define the person I am. Every choice I make today defines who I am today. That is my past. I'll be honest about it. I fucked up in so many things. I made bad mistakes. I did bad things to people. I had bad things happen to me. But all them are what people think of you, judgments. My character is what I do today. My character is, this is who I am and this is what I'm going to do. If you need help, I will be there. If Dan needs help with pointing people in the right place, all he has to do, I'll link it with Dan. I'll point people. If people just want to ask me advice on something, I'll talk to people on the phone one-on-one. Everybody needs help. Everybody needs guidance. I seek it every day because I can't do nothing alone. I can't stay clean alone every day. But today, the only thing I can do alone is I can be happy alone because I've improved myself, because I'm happy with relationship with others, because I've got nothing in my closet where I'm scared of or scared coming out. I hide nothing from anyone. I'm an open book now. And I love my life, so I wouldn't change anything I've done. I couldn't risk what I've got today if I changed anything, mate.
Thank you.
Can I say something as well?
Yeah, of course, mate, of course.
And I'm sure your brother, if you could see you now, wouldn't change anything because he's proud of what you've done and proud of what the person you've come for today. Because if he changed one thing, would you be the man you are? So although it's a horrible thing what's happening in that, I understand it. And it's like, why some people happen? Why doesn't it happen to someone? Your brother, wherever it is, whatever heaven is, whatever energy is, I swear to God, bro, if he'll be looking at you, he'll be fucking proud as fuck of you. Know that, bro.
Oh, thank you, man.
That's all right, man.
Cheers, bro. Thank you.